What's up, y'all? It's me, Tasha C, and this particular video I'm going to review in Love and Hip Hop with season 2, whatever episode this is, right? Shout out to my YouTube fam, and even though I'm on YouTube fam, don't forget to subscribe to this video, like and share this video. But anyway, thank y'all for the birthday wishes. Thank you for the congratulations for me reaching 2,000 subscribers. I just wanted to say that. I'm not going to upload this video until tomorrow because I'm just tired, but I wanted to get it out the way. But anyways, y'all, there's a lot going on this episode. But I wanted to point out first about they're supposed to have a special at 11 o'clock next week, I think, about, I guess, the in and outs of like coming out, you know, in the hip-hop community. But one thing, when we had a PSA at the end where Miles is talking about coming out, why wasn't Miles and Million's relationship in the first episode? So why was this PSA? Because he had issues coming out since episode 1. So why was that not disclosed, this PSA, at the beginning? I'm just saying. But anyways, let's go here. We got a couple issues here. We have Nikki kind of sliding on through. Let's get this in. And we got the Willie and his wife situation. But anyway, let's go to Willie first. Will and his wife are talking after we had seen the argument last weekend, whatever, right? And beforehand, he goes to meet with this guy named Screwed Face or Screwed whatever, right? Who used to be his manager and used to work with him when he was doing Day 26 days. And basically he's talking about this offer, this great offer he has for Major Label. The problem is, y'all, is that Willie is under some like independent label that spent what $250,000 or something like that. Sorry, y'all, $250,000 on his ass, right? I don't know. He didn't say the contract where it's like he's binded to like keep him out, but it's like the album is on you know, it's on frozen mode, and so he's wondering how to get some money together with, right? And so he kind of feels like he's obligated, which is that this man invested, or this company invested altogether this money with him, so he doesn't want to just instantly leave, even though, you know, the money's calling. And, you know, the wife's thinking about, you know, going back on the pole again. So he got to think about that, okay? So, and the bills is piling up. We see later on, it's Willie, you know, sound nice in the studio, whatever. But he ends up talking, you know, to this guy named Harry, the one he mentioned. And Harry's like, he going to have to talk to his people, whatever. He don't know. And whatever, because, you know, he asked like how long it's going to take, and, you know, Harry's still talking about, well, if you work on this population, you work on this clientele, it's going to take a little bit longer, and blah 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 blah. But I don't know for sure. Obviously, maybe he's not buying it to give him an album, because Harry's trying to negotiate that can the record label, because they ain't saying no names, you know, work with, you know, like merge where, you know, they still have something where the independent label is with the major label, like, you know, what is it, TDE, you know, where Kendrick Lamar, Ab-Soul, what is Solo, who else, the Gilboa Q and J-Rock, and how isn't like most of them, all of them already are like intertwined, they're under with Aftermath, or something like that. I know it's like they're still on the TDE somehow, but they're also under like a contract or something. Y'all know what I say. I don't know nothing about that stuff, but I'm just saying. But Willie like, no, they just want to work with him directly, with the artist, with the major label. So we don't know. And Harry's like, we got to talk to folks. He, you know, whatever. He didn't say like couldn't get out of it. So there's question mark. But there's another part where he's talking to his wife, and they're dropping off the beautiful children off at school, I guess. And they're talking, and you know, Willie admits in the confessionals that his wife doesn't know his financial situation, you know, like how it is to a certain degree. And it's like, okay, y'all went out here on a prayer. Okay, and scratching and surviving during there, okay, and you know, and y'all need to make sure y'all get that together, okay. And as far as like he said about the first, she's excited because she just like, oh, major label. He's like, well, wait a minute, we read the fine print, you know, because it's still this thing with the independent label, and he has to get out of that. So of course she's, you know, he first ain't gonna be on the pole. He is gonna mine. If she dance on the pole, I mean, not saying that makes sense, but he just saying he does mine. Okay, so she's like, you can get a regular job. Okay, I get a regular job or something like that. So it's still the thing where you got the financial, the bills is piling up, And even though he said he got everything, he really ain't got everything together financially. She's thinking like, should she take the kids, go back to Chicago, whatever. You know, they having like, you know, should we do this? Should we do that? Thing going on, you know. So, anyways, yeah, that's the end of that. Because she comes back, I think, 1 or 2 times in episodes, but not like the story focused on her, right? So, Nia's there for a second, but let's go to Hazel for the 5 seconds that she's in there, right? Now Hazel is got a place in the hills, and her music career is proper. I thought like maybe she's still doing some PR work or something, whatever, right? Or behind the scenes. But she got that, and she's supposed to be going out of the country somewhere, and she's up for a gig. And TT come over to visit her, and she explained the situation about Jason Lee. Even though confessional, CT is like, that was wrong with what she did. I don't know why she kind of just was like, huh? You know, more so she was kind of laughing when, you know, Hazel was kind of explaining to her, like, you know, he did this and he threw some rock stuff, because it was somebody that they met before somewhere, and he would just say on this stuff. Also, fuckboy, I checked on his page, and again, still, he's not verified on Twitter. And I think wasn't Boston one of them sites, the one he was bragging about, or, you know, name dropping and shit. They claim, we don't know you. You don't work here. We don't know who the fuck you is. Okay? And again, I was just like mad about why was he even allowed to come back on the show again after that bullshit. You know, is this supposed to give people ratings or something? Or, you know, might be somebody else do some fuckboy move shit like that again. You know, I'm just you have to think about it like, really? You let him come back on the scene, but I know unless he come back again, you know he didn't film with no more dudes. I'm just saying, yeah, let him throw a, you know, glass of Hennessy on somebody. I'm just saying, it ain't gonna be pretty. But anyways, we got Nikki, and she talking to Little B, and you know how she gets sometimes, right? And they up there exercising, and you know she talking about the Luke Fizz situation and the girl, and here Little B talking about some, yeah, she need plastic surgery and stuff like that. Talk about, because you know Nikki's still talking about, you know, how Kima was talking about her with her plastic surgery. But Nikki, you a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. It's fantastic. Bitch, you are in plastic. Yes, if y'all remember that song. But anyways, so she explains the situation about how she was pissed off at Jason Lee. And you know, she wants to show the right, but she's having a beauty bar event and she's going to invite him there. But I'm like, girl, why you didn't say anything? She could have cussed him out when he ran away like this. That's your, eat that bitch. And could have said something. She just sat there as Hazel is sitting there trying to still see, you know, blink her eyes 5 times because they burning. But why was no security there to trip hit that dude's ass? You know, it was just, it didn't make any sense. They allowed him to throw her drink in her face, and he was able to take off. So B felt some type of way because she felt like the disrespect more so. She obviously doesn't know Hazel, but she felt like nobody comes through my girl, my family, blah, blah, blah. But she meant that her and her husband are going through tough times, you know. Meant to ask Bobby, said, scoot booty to the car. And then, you know, Nikki said, well, y'all always go through, but she's like, not this time. She don't know for sure. And, you know, how they did, you know, the sneaking thing last time at the studio, so we don't know how that's going to go. And so Nikki has this beauty bar, and then Camilla comes in with Jason Lee, and I'm already like, okay, he's starting to start some shit anyway, because I know she already told him about what happened when she went to Fizz's house and see Nikki there, right? But Jason Lee told her to come down there to, now Camilla should have went by herself, not went by her way. If she can DM Nikki on Twitter or DM Instagram, whatever, and should have talked to her then, because this was already a recipe for disaster, especially when Jason Lee basically and I'll try to get a spot on the show. Okay. So, anyways, they go down there and Nikki brings up the situation. And Little B is right there, like, you sat there, and I forgot who else was there. You sat there, and you up here. That's bullshit, because I agree with Little B to this certain point. That's bullshit of what you did, right? And he's trying to sit there and justify, well, you weren't there. What the fuck? Like, he acted like as if Hazel jumped on top of him, began to bite his damn raggedy ass ears off or something like that. Or, you know, just saying, like, physically attacked him and scratching his face. The only way he should be doing that is that she was kicking him in his balls. Or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, even that would be questionable. I'm just saying is, he was acting like she physically attacked him. You know what I'm saying? Threw some, pieces of, like glass in his face. So I'm just saying, like, and then he calls Little B a chihuahua. Now, you know, even though Little B, Little B said, I can't believe he called me. Did he call me a chihuahua? Yeah, he did say, did he call me a chihuahua? And he was like, yeah, he did say, basically called you. You used to be the spokes dog of Where's My Chalupa for Taco Bell. That's what he called you. And Little B sat there with water, and she threw it right on him. But I noticed he didn't try to sit there and say anything, because, I know his community background was trying to say hi, Nikki, but Nikki was so-called checking Jason Lee, and when he got the water party, he went back, and here we got community confessionals talking about we came here to talk as adults, and they just went another route. But at the same time, it's like it was not going anywhere, and it's just like, girl, you being around this dude is already negative as hell, and you made a mistake by talking about your sex life or whatever to this dude. Consider he's a blogger and all he is trying to get information, but she's saying he's such a good friend. And even he's asking questions like he's sitting there and putting his fucking damn iPad, like, to write down, or his med notebook, the 5 subject. That's what he's presenting. And so anyway, he walks out, but this time, like I said, he didn't have nothing to throw because, whatever. But here's Little B and Mickey going, he's like, I'm going to write all this stuff about you, come on, and blah, 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 and just kept writing. But comedian, like I said, was making it seem like they were at fault. But at the same time, it's like, this dude already took it there by throwing a drink in a woman's face. Maybe he didn't tell you that part, but he's trying to justify as if he was protecting himself. Oh, fuck, boy. Yeah, so, like I said, I kind of like the Little B that she gave him, some Fuji water for him to enjoy. Because this bitch ass is trying to definitely be thirsty as hell to try to get on the show, but just be unnecessary, disrespectful, and throwing a drink in a woman's face. Anyways, y'all, we go to another scene where we got this whole thing with Ray J. Well, I was about to call him TJ. Ray J. He wasn't in this episode, but Princess has found out about the bullshit with Ray J. Now, the first scene, she's up here moving out, taking the cute dog with her, and apparently she's already found a place to stay or a friend or whatever, right? And she's already moved out. And then you gotta look at Yon now, because you already know this, they're engaged, supposedly, right? So I moved on and I realized this is for the best, and I'm moving on. Until 2 weeks later. And, already, remember, she already had moved out and moved to her friends originally during the first episode, right? So, and then she always feels like if a man can let you go to jail, he doesn't love you. And I'm like, Bray J did also around the same Quimbley, girl. It wasn't just that, a lot of stuff he did, whatever, right? So, she talks. I know I'm probably skipping a couple scenes, but the highlights, right? Now, there's April. There's Willie's wife. I don't know why I keep forgetting her name. And who is the third person? Whatever. I think, yeah, it's Princess, April, and Nia, right? And she told me she moved on, blah, 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 explains the Tierra situation about TT, where she sat there and sent that text or whatever, and realized she wasn't her friend. And Nia's like, in confessionals, like, well, she go through some stuff too, and she's mad at Soulja Boy, and he don't get a stepson, she gonna be single too. They go back and forth too. Ain't they together again this week? But anyways, y'all, they're just like, dang, okay, whatever, right? But Princess says she's going to invite her somewhere. They making sure they invite these women, or, invite men or women, especially particularly these women, right? They invite people to these events so they can get in possibly 4 fights in hands, okay? Why can't we just go to the park, put your hair in a ponytail, and call it a day, okay, whatever? You know what I'm saying? You want to put your verses on, some beat up shoes you only wear for cleaning occasionally, something like that. I noticed they inviting each other for confrontations, and they, in dresses and shit, or just like cute shit, that I ain't about to fuck up my damn hair and nails with your ass shit. I'll rather get I'm like, what, really? I'm just saying, I'm going to invite them to the beauty bar. And I'm going to confront this person. I'm going to invite them to my thing when I got executives and stuff. And I'm going to invite, I'm just noticing this pattern. It's like the possibility of confrontation. And they're inviting them to like events that you shouldn't be like wanting that. I'm going to beat that bitch's ass. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, really? Is this what we're doing here? Okay. Okay. Whatever. Just like that bullshit with that black car. The bullshit with the... It never stops, okay? I'm surprised, honestly, Nikki didn't wear her damn lingerie in the fucking damn chair, okay? At least do some more promotion shit. Okay, but anyways, so there's some other event. I don't know. It was smoke some weed seed. I don't know what the hell it was, but she invites TT Marie, because he also was telling Hazel, I forgot to mention, about how she got, you know, Princess, you know, and getting her revenge back, basically. And we see where that didn't work, because in real life, we're proving that Ray J didn't want Tara Reid, so it makes her even look more stupid by doing that shit, and bitter. Okay, I understand that was some foul shit to put you on display, and, you know, and put your whole mileage on display, speaking of that, just saying that she's a hoe. But her taking the time to do all this bullshit, it's like, it's making her appear bitter. Even if she was, you know, we seen she was the victim at first, you know, last season, is, you know, whatever. So, she comes to bed, and here comes Moniece. Has she been in one scene with Cam this season yet? But anyway, you know, her son. But anyways, so she makes an appearance, and she hears Portia Girl, and Princess basically confronts her. Like I said, they got April, Realist Wives. And I think, was Nia there too? Oh, but it was, like I said, it was a couple people. And Princess, like I said, you want to have some beauty bit, you got your own makeup on, got your dress on and shit, and you ready to throw hands in your best outfit. You about to see me in some fucking jogging pants and some shoes and stuff like that, and maybe if I could sneak in a nice ring that look it's actually a pair of brass knuckles, maybe, would you get what I'm saying? It's like she's sitting here just all woke up like this, flawless, and you... Okay, anyways, so she confronts Tara Reid about the stuff like, you the one who said all the stuff, and you did this and this and this and that, whatever. And then she basically confronted her, you know, and Tara Reid's like, yeah, I did that, and I think she could let her know, like, you did this to me last year, blah blah blah, this and that, whatever. And she thought she was being, you weren't genuine when you said you did. She was like, yeah, what do you think I was supposed to do? I was going to kick somebody with her down, but technically you end up doing that, kicking her while she was down. You took the opportunity to make sure, since you got, and she was fucking with Ray J when she was fucking with you, I mean he was with you or whatever, you know, you got stuff back for Prince talk about, you know, you were the one, you know, he said he wasn't with you, he wasn't claiming you. Well, I mean, we did send awards, and I did know they were dating. I just know that they weren't on and off, you know, that long. And so it ends up where, y'all, she ends up, like I said, you know, we see Princess threw hands, and even Moniece didn't get a chance, so she threw her drink on. I'm like, well, you know what? They throwing and wasting too much fucking damn water, liquid, agua, juice, or whatever on people, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, did somebody pay for that? Again, Moniece tried, but I know Moniece didn't throw hands, though. She just tried to slide through, you know, through some Shirley Temple cocktail water at her ass. And then they went back to, she still talked shit, kept calling Tara Reid fat, okay? Alright? You know, Weight Watchers is waiting for you. We can get your gift certificate. I'm surprised she didn't say that, okay? So, I'm surprised April didn't do anything. It's this one thing about peace, and this would have been like a backhand. Oh, bitch, wait, that was just my reflex. Because when Tara Reid went to do this, she went to go spit, which I'm like, Tara Reid, why did you do that, girl? Yeah, so I went towards the spit at her. Oh, I'm like, oh, hell, this whole level spit coming out? Oh, no, you nasty bitch. So anyway, you know, that was more reason to throw hands. And April could have got some of that spit in that hair of hers. And then, you know, you seen this. I don't know. It looked like she hit her accidentally, but still, I'm sorry. Spit and hand, I don't care if it's accident, but just like you had a reflex, bitch, you would have caught one this fucking quick. And, you know, like I said, I would have smacked her into the 25th century. Shit. What the hell? And she tried. That's what I'm saying. Is Tara is known for being a hothead. Like Hazel said, like, you know, once she, you know, she get on bad side, get on bad side. And then April, she's like, I'm sick and tired of being a peacemaker. I always help people, but I'm around some crazy ass people. But girl, I would have. I don't know if this Pearson's hit me right, but like I said, I would have. April would have turned into some showers real quick, or thunderstorm. I would have turned the storm off of X-Men. Would have been shit. So. Anyways, someone had talked and they calmed down. And Prince was just like, you sat there and said you were trying to tell Ray J to get rid of me and move you in and all the stuff. He's still talking, because that's what I think she asked Tara Reid too before they got into that confrontation. And she was just basically like, you the hoe. She keeps saying you the hoe, but it could be said either way. It's like, if Princess was the side chick, you were the hoe and stuff like that. So now you're the main hoe and the main girl. I don't know what the hell's going on here. But it basically ended where, you know, Prince was like, I'll end up getting you and your little friend too, whatever. You know, Melissa's name, you know, when he's saying, I'm like, girl, save that passion for getting your son. I'm just saying, yeah, it's some stuff going on there, okay? But, yeah, so that was pretty interesting, though. But like I said, Prince is, you know, somebody talks boxing a little bit. Okay, we'll leave that alone. But anyway, so anyways, wait a minute, for Hazel E to be doing some music, extra music, why didn't have her do another song or a snippet or something in here? You know, try to get some more extras promotion. Okay, but at least they had some music in here. But anyway, let's go to the last thing that stood out. Was Miles needing to tell. First we see Amber talk to her sister. And Amber, you know, finally gets, I guess, to where they're about to go to counseling. I know I'm jumping scene, but she's just so excited talking to her sister Angel. And Angel has knew her and my, you know, like, they've been, you know, Miles has been in their life. This has been her life too, you know. That's because of her little sister, whatever. And she was like, girl, you should know something's going on. But, you know, Amber, the way she's talking, like, okay, she, you know, he's been around. He financially supports the little girl. But I'm like, still, how does she getting that confused with thinking like they're together in a way as if it's some stuff like they're keeping it to themselves, if something sexual is going on or something romantic for her to be led on who knows how long. And it seemed like a big ass gap. Like, how does she not know, not just his best friend, but why is it like she seems to be clueless about, that's what I'm saying, even if they were never romantically involved. Yeah, sorry, it's 1:22, it's not mine to go to bed after this. But it just seemed like it's a big ass gap. Some people know more about each other and they haven't seen each other in years and they're able to start or some way. I don't get it. The shit don't make sense. She lived down the street by your current person that you're with, your man. So what the fuck? Come on, y'all. Really? Really? But anyways, we see Miles is on the set of the song. It kind of was decent. He was talking about West Coast stuff, okay? He got, you know, got inspired by Smokey from Friday, the first episode, as far as like wearing the famous khaki pants. Not sure. I don't know, that's just what it made me find out. I'm, you know, like I said, but he bring the West Coast back and he's trying to call I think Miles to get. Miles is sitting there beautifully with the best baby oil money can buy in a photo shoot looking like this. And then somebody give him an iPhone and he just takes it back. And I'm just like, okay, why is this so much a setup? And then he calls Amber and said he's found a counselor, even though they're not in a relationship. But somehow they got to see a counselor, stuff, whatever. And she's just excited. And that's what she tells stuff about her to her sister. And then she goes ahead and they go. And he's about to tell, he's in church and he's reading the Bible verses, and that's what he's saying. He has to deal with the debate of not once he comes to his family that tells Amber, that's like telling the rest of his family friends, and what is the world going to look at him like as far as once he comes out in the thing. And he is about time. Amber, like I said, man, a lot of 7 calls, he's up here modeling and posing and, you know, whatever. But I mean, he ain't speaking to Miles at the moment. But I think they together still in real life, right? But anyways, to make a long story short, they have it where he's about to go see a counselor. I think they had that psychotherapist before in previous episodes, right? But anyways, y'all, Amber come in doing this, a ponytail. She's sitting there in her famous business suit she used for her last interview and shit. And she about to come in there and really think this counts, because her sister said, like, you know, you gotta be ready for anything. Either y'all going to work or get it together, or just take your separate ways in terms. But you know, before she comes in there, you know, the therapist is wondering, like, okay, what is going on? What would you tell your best friend? He's saying, you know, he hasn't, but you know, stuff like, he hasn't really been there for her as a best friend as far as not letting her know everything and stuff like. But that's, I'm scratching my head for this to be your best friend. This associates know more about that shit than your ass is giving. I don't know what's going on. It leaves a big ass gap about why is she thinking they're together or being misled. How can be misled like that? You know, even if he is financially supporting her daughter, like, and it's like a father. That's why I'm thinking, like, is that why she thinks it's a chance they're together or whatever? But it's just like, okay, that could be just co-parenting. He just chooses to be the stepping ass the father. You know, I'm just saying, like, some ain't right here. Something's not right. No, just making sense. Okay, because like I said, people can co-parent and get the fuck on. So what the hell is this bullshit that she don't know? And then, like I said, she about to come in and start twirling ponytail because, you know, the therapist says, you know, you got to get ready, you know, because, see, you had to see from her. Ain't going to get ready for her to come in, you know, that type of speech. And they just ends and they start the credit and then they have the PSA. And that's pretty much all this episode was. This episode had a lot of stuff going on. But the next episode, we're going to see the response. And we're going to see Amber run out that office and go from there, okay? But anyway, that's all I got. Y'all, pleasant week, pleasant night, pleasant weekend. And what did y'all think about this episode, y'all? I don't know why, but I just was rolling my eyes at certain scenes. But I was just like, really? I still don't know how did she get misled. If this really is true that she doesn't know. That's all I can think of, y'all. Because I'm just like, really? Really? She don't know. She never knew. Had no idea. No clues. No connect the dots. Connect the four. Nothing. Just... I'm just saying, there's a lot of guys, I know this is a little off subject, but there's a couple guys that either were bi or gay, and we knew before they got out of high school or a little bit after that they were a part, the LGBT, I don't want to get all the words made, but you know what I'm saying, it's like, they either came out or we kind of, and it's not because of the way the figures, but it's just like, they already knew. I mean, I knew about it, didn't even personally know of these men or these females, you know, so it was like, girl, if you his best friend and don't know what's... Anyway, y'all, like I said about the whole issue about Amber, sorry, y'all, I didn't hear the beat when it goes on 27 minutes. If y'all don't look at both my black ink or whatever, I was too tired and feel like it at the moment of, like, seeing, you know, did it go past the beep or not. But like I said, the whole Amber and Miles situation... It's like for them to be best friends, even if they're not romantically involved, it just leaves a lot of questions. And like I said, we gotta get ready for next week. If I haven't said it already, because I don't know which part or forgot where it got cut off and I was talking for additional 5-6 minutes. But anyway, y'all, we'll just get ready for that. And it's therapy session, and I'm just like, that's my response, because it's nothing else I can say about this at all, because I'm like, for this, I could maybe even see if he hasn't seen her in years. It's the only way that will make this a little bit more believable. But the fact is they still had contact with each other. He's been around her daughter's life and all the stuff, but you want to pretend, and she stays down the street from, you know, his man, which he's trying to hide. I'm just saying it's too much. Hey, so you mean to tell me how long it's been going? I don't know how long it's been going with what's going with Milan, his other M at the time. But it's just that it's with nowadays with everything. It's just it doesn't add up and shit about how does she not know or the now or the pieces together, you know, or has any clue. And even if he was just straight. He's gave her, who knows, that's also another question too, how long he's been stringing on as if there's a chance of a relationship again. I'm confused. Okay, on that one, because even if he don't want her, how is he able to lead her on if it's no, like, He ain't going to dates or sexual contact. You know, just question. That's why I'm like, this is bullshit, even if it had nothing to do with him, you know, feeling uncomfortable about finally coming out or sexual orientation. It's like, how is he able to keep leading her on like, oh, just give him more time? What is the reason for just giving more time? Is it heartbreak? You know, is he healing from surgery and scratch area? I'm just saying, you know, he has health problems. It don't add up. You know what I mean? But anyway, y'all have a pleasant week, pleasant night, pleasant weekend, and we will see continuous on the therapy session, or as the world turns in hip hop, love and hip hop, next week. All right, take care, y'all.